Hi folks, Lou here to talk about art, which is always a dangerous subject in relation to games. Now you might notice behind me there's a splotch of different color on the wall because that wall needs to be painted. Of course, that's not art. At least most people would say it's not art. On the other hand, is designing a game art? Well, I don't think so. And Ian Bogost, 10 years ago now, said, art is about changing the world, entertainment is about leisure. And that's where I go as well. Your typical game or even novel is not high art, is what he's referring to, but it is art in the sense of doing something with your hands and your mind that affects other people in a relatively low key way. You can think of game designers in most cases as pottery makers. Not pottery makers of today, but pottery makers when pottery was a necessity of civilization. Pottery was a great invention because it was a way to store food that the rats could not get into. That seems like a simple thing, but when you don't have a way to keep rats and mice out of food, it's pretty important when you come up with a way to do it. So pottery makers back then, and we're talking, 3,000 years ago, could be creative, but in the end, they had one goal, and that was to create storage vessels that the rats and other vermin couldn't get into. So in Greece, for example, there was, in anywhere really, there was a certain style of pottery, and people expected certain things from the pottery, but the potters could embellish the pots in ways that were unusual. Well, game designers can be creative in that way too, but in the end, they have one goal, and that's entertainment. Now, of course, there are some game designers who are making educational games or other kinds of games, but most game designers are creating entertainment. Now, that may not feel very flattering to you, I don't know, but after all, entertainment is a big industry. It's just that the game designers don't get a whole lot of money out of it compared to, say, well-known singers, well-known actors, and so forth. But you can consider most singers and actors don't make vast amounts of money either. They may make, some of them make more than game designers, some of them not. So you can think of game design as something like creating pottery and interesting designs in the pottery within the expectations of what people want from games. Thanks for listening.